Hey guys, Yankee here, and today I'm going to be giving my thoughts on Tenchi Muyo Ryo-Ohki OVA 3 Episode 3. Episode 2 was a bit of a hectic one. It didn't really seem that bad in the moment when watching it, but when I sat down to talk about it, it was a struggle. So I'm kind of happy that this one is a more simple episode and pretty straightforward. We don't have like a bunch of characters getting introduced or anything like that. It is very much a Noike focused episode, right? This whole episode really focuses on integrating her into the group, right? We've got two OVAs worth of characters sort of interacting and sort of becoming a unit. Now Noike is getting thrust into that. We got to try and find a spot for her. And then it's also a bit of a Tenchi and Noike episode where they get some moments together. So this episode opens on kind of an ominous opening. We've got Noike staring over Tenchi as he sleeps, seems to be having some kind of nightmare. He's like writhing in his sleep, and then a light on his forehead shines. And we sort of move away from that. We don't touch on that. And I'm going to be honest, it's been a while since I've watched this OVA. I don't remember that scene, and I don't really remember what it's about. Then, the next morning, after Noike had spied on Tenchi, Tenchi is just trying to get ready to go out to the carrot fields, where Ryoko and Aika are arguing behind him, kind of like always. I think, in particular, they're making a big deal out of Noike, where they're like, you can't just have a fiancé out of nowhere. Come on, send her away. Get her out of here. And Tenchi just collapses. Washi looks him over, says... he's just kind of exhausted, right? He's working out in the fields every day. It's gotten kind of hot, this and that. And watching it this time, I don't know if I've had this thought before, if this is something that's happening right now. I'm wondering if the first scene, right, where Tenchi is obviously not sleeping well and something's going on, is a part of the problem that nobody just picks up on. So, I'm sure I thought of that before, but maybe not. And I'm interested to see what that's all about exactly again. But anyway, Tenchi collapses. He needs to rest for a couple of days, and Washu kind of takes charge of the household here. Ryoko, Aika, and them are all basically being like, we'll take care of Tenchi, we'll make him feel better. And Washu just sort of steps in and says, like, no, leave him alone. He's sick. Go away. Noike is a nurse, apparently, because she's all kinds of things, which I guess they're old aliens, so I guess it's not that much of a stretch, but Washu assigns Noike to watch Tenchi, and that's sort of the crux of this episode. She sort of picks up the slack while Tenchi is gone, so she's going to be tending the fields, as well as checking on Tenchi as he's sick. She's doing house chores and sort of delegating it out to everybody else because everybody else is kind of, worried about how Tenchi is doing. And she's like, well, he's sick. It'd be great if you guys could help out around here so he didn't have as much stuff to do. And this is where getting Noike into the, household kind of misses the mark for me a little bit, because we've seen in previous episodes where they were already delegating out chores. So, Tenchi is off doing hard work in the fields every day, but Ryoko and Aika and all them were already doing chores. We didn't need Noike to step up and sort of, put them to work, right? Whereas her willingness to go out and work in the fields with Tenchi and stuff is a good place for her, right? It's a good place for her to fit in. Nobody else is really doing that. Ryo-Ohki is out there playing. Sasami comes out once a day to give him lunch, but nobody's actually helping him do farm work. So Noike is taking care of the farm while everybody else is taking care of stuff at the house. She goes to Yosho to just sort of tell him what's going on with Tenchi, and we get the first little discussion of why Noike is actually here. I think it's Yosho that says it, that Noike was sent by Seto to basically keep an eye on everybody, and that gets elaborated on pretty much right after this. So after the day, Ryoko and Aika are in Ryoko's little loft area, drinking, or not really loft, like upstairs, I think it is. I don't think they're at the kitchen table. I don't remember where they are. Anyway, it's not important. They're just sort of drinking and whatnot, being very friendly, in a way that they hadn't really in previous seasons. Like, this is something I like about the OVAs. Ryo-Ohki and Aika really do get closer as we go through. So, like, them just sitting here drinking and having a conversation isn't something you really would have expected much in the beginning. Like, OVA 1, when Ryo-Ohki gets kidnapped, Aika's just ready to let her be taken. She didn't care. Then, the end of OVA 2, you see Aika step up when Ryo-Ohki is captured again, because she always is. And now here they are just hanging out, right? They're not bickering, they're not fighting, they're just having a drink. Cool. And then Noike shows up and basically explains everything. Like, she's not hiding it, she's just tells everyone there that the Tenchi house, with everybody in it, is like an absurdly strong military force that could wreck planets if it needed to, right? Ryo-Ohki, back in the day, really did damage to Jirai just on her own, and they've got Washu, and they've got Aika and Sasami, and Tsunami, and then Mihoshi, and it's just a lot of power that isn't really beholden to anybody right now. Like, Aika and Sasami are members of the Jirai royal family. I can't speak. Mihoshi is one of the Kurimitsus, so like they're important. They have, families and stuff on other planets, but the Tenchi family unit we have here isn't really beholden to any of them. They're just hanging out on Earth, which is kind of an unaffiliated planet with any of them. So Seto set up this arranged marriage for Tenchi and Noike, so Noike can keep tabs on all these incredibly powerful people and basically send messages back to Seto, right? So she comes out, just says that to Ryo-Ohki and Aika, and then we're on our way. The next morning, Tenchi wakes up. I guess it's afternoon, because according to Noike, it's after lunch. Tenchi wakes up. Noike's in his room, sitting in like a chair looking over him. She's having a nightmare, kind of similar to the vision she had in episode 2. We don't get to see it, but we just hear her talking about it. About her Oni-chan and stuff like that, her freaking out. And Tenchi wakes her up. She gets embarrassed that she was talking in her sleep, and then she invites Tenchi to her ship, where, like, he's feeling better, he can get up, it's past lunchtime, and so Sasami didn't prepare anything, so she takes Tenchi to her ship and sort of shows it around. Noike's ship is called Kyoko. It is a 3rd generation royal ship, and it's a test ship, and she goes on to explain this later on in the episode, where basically 3rd generation ships aren't as strong as 2nd generation ones, and not even close to 1st generation ones, and so when Ryo-Ohki attacked Jirai all those years ago, 3rd generation ships didn't stand a chance, so Jirai has started experimenting on 3rd generation ships to try and make them stronger, and so her 3rd generation ship is as powerful as a 2nd generation one, or about as powerful. So we get a little explanation on that, as I don't remember where exactly they explain it, but they're basically walking this whole ship. Like, they have lunch on like a little raft, I think it was, then they're in the bath, and the bath has like a water slide almost. It's not like a steep decline, but it's like a river basically. And I think I've said this a bunch while talking about this show. I just love the designs of like Jurian ships, the outsides of them being like, tree-like, and I also really like the insides, where they're just sort of like planets, kind of. Like, they've got this huge space that doesn't make any sense for the ship that they're in, but it exists, and it's cool, and you've got like this, like, long river that they can just float down and whatnot, and like, there's moons and stuff, and I just think all that's really cool. So, this episode wraps up after basically Tenchi and Noike going on a date with, I think it's Mihoshi's father. I don't remember his name. I don't think it was said in the episode. If it was, I didn't write it down. But basically, he is upset about what's happening to Mihoshi, where, what is his name? Z, meddled with one of her letters and sent something else. So this was set up in episode 1, I think. So he is sending his son, Misao, and the Chobi Maru, which is like a big moon ship, it's basically a Death Star, down to Earth. And that's sort of where we're left off. We get a brief glimpse of something that happened to Mihoshi in the past, where she is, like, actually being torn apart in a very creepy way. Like, she's in pieces, but, like, not bloody or broken or like that. It's like, I don't know how to explain it, really, but, like, it's like she's mechanical and she's just been, like it's like she's a robot and she's just been, pieces have been broken off. And so we get an allusion to something bad happening to her in the past, with no details on it. But it's used as sort of an explanation of why her father or grandfather and her brother are so protective of her and going to save her, and risking war with Jirai in the process. It's also mentioned that Seto is coming next episode, or I don't know about next episode. It's probably next episode, but, like, Noike just said Seto's coming soon, so probably next episode. And yeah, we've got a Death Star on the way. And that's halfway through the main OVA 3, and then there's a special episode. So right now, not a whole lot has happened, but that's fine. Like, this was a pretty good episode. Again, the way Noike gets integrated into the group is sort of hit and miss for me. Like, she comes off kind of bossy in spots, when I don't think we needed somebody like that in the group. Washu kind of already had everybody under control. We didn't need somebody to delegate out chores. That was something that was already happening. But, you know, somebody that's going to be out there helping Tenchi sort of, you know, take care of the fields and whatnot is a nice addition for him. Also, I didn't mention this, I don't think. Noike gets a haircut, and I hate it. It's awful. I don't really mind short hair up to a point, right? But it's too short for me, and it's just a poor hairstyle. I don't like it. Yeah, that's it. I'm just going to complain about her hair. Anyway, that's Tenchi Muyo OVA 3 Episode 3. A pretty good episode with some exposition here and there, some mysteries set up. But overall, just like a nice, like, OVA 2 style slice of life episode. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.